What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Thanks for tuning in to the Crash Bang Boom Drumming Podcast. Today's guest is Justin Rippeto of Kansas City, Missouri's Hyborian. Justin and I caught up some time ago when Hyborian came through Brooklyn, where we got to talk about the new record entitled Volume 2, out March 20th. That was produced by Josh Barber, who also worked with Norma Jean on their awesome records Wrongdoers and Polar Similar. So expect some big-ass guitars and some all-around big-ass production. I'm excited about this one. First track off the record has been released entitled Planet Destructor, so get your hands on it. Link to their Bandcamp is in the description of this episode. Speaking of all this record talk, shout out to my sponsor, New Orleans Record Press. If you're looking to put out vinyl for your project, go on over to NewOrleansRecordPress.com to check out the many coloring, packaging, mastering options, and you can add it all up in the real-time quote generator. Need assistance with design or packaging? They can help you, and they print both 12 and 7-inch records in 150 and 180 gram variants. And they print small runs of 100 and larger runs up in the thousands. Thousands. And that's NewOrleansRecordPress.com. Crash Bang Boom Podcast can be found on iTunes Podcast, my SoundCloud and YouTube pages, Stitcher, Luminary, Google Play, Podbean, and more. If you like what you hear, feel free to check out any of the previous 160-plus episodes. Give me a like, a subscription, a positive rating, and/or a glowing review. The support is appreciated. So without further ado, here we go. Justin Rippeto, Hyborian, Kansas City. Crash, bang, boom.
Crowds go mad with joy.
Justin Rippeto of Kansas City, Missouri, Hyborian. What's happening, dude?
Not much, man. Just played a set here at St. Vitus, early matinee show. And yeah, man, just hanging out.
Y'all sounded great, man. It was nice to hear y'all. I mean, I always enjoy here being St. Vitus. We're down in the basement here. If some of you repeat listeners are accustomed to the generator ambience that happens during these interviews at times. But yeah, it sounded badass, man.
Thank
you really
you very
got
much.
your sound together. And
Thank you,
I'll
man.
definitely pick your brain about that kit you're playing because it sounds awesome.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just recently got it this past year. And yeah, I'm still kind of honing it in, figuring out the heads and the tunings and how to,
Yeah.
how to make it sound like I want it to. But
It's a Q drums?
Q Drum Company, yep.
Okay, and it's a steel kit with wooden, like maple hoops for the bearing edges, essentially? Is that kind of?
Yep, it's a 24-gauge stainless steel
Okay.
shell that is riveted on one side of each shell. So it's bent over and riveted. And then there are, I'm not exactly sure on the amount of plies that the reinforcement hoops are, but there are maple reinforcement hoops
Okay.
inside each drum that
Nice.
the heads sit on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that gives it maybe a little bit of warmth, which is interesting because it's resonating against a wooden bearing edge, but then the body of the drum is that big, powerful steel sound.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit kind of best of both worlds there.
Yeah. It has some of the characteristics of like the old school, full on stainless steel kits. It's, I feel like, a little bit more controlled.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of, like the old Ludwig, just straight up stainless steel kits, because
Right.
they, they're loud. They ring out a lot.
Oh, yeah.
you know?
They're super loud.
Yeah.
They sound amazing.
They do sound amazing. I love this stuff. But yeah, so it's just kind of I feel like probably a modern take on something like that, like an older Ludwig stainless steel kit. I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn and say what exactly they're trying to do, because they do a lot of different types of kits. But yeah, it has some of those qualities and characteristics.
Definitely sounds killer.
Thank you.
And y'all are, how long is this run that y'all are doing here? And I know you got a few more shows. Y'all end up back in Kansas City? Is that the last show?
The last show is actually in Lawrence, Kansas, which
Okay.
is about an hour outside of Kansas City.
Okay.
Obviously, towards the Kansas side.
Yeah.
So that'll be our last show. But the run itself is a week and a half with another band called Migrator, and they're
Okay.
actually from Lawrence, Kansas.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So yeah.
What are y'all using to get around? I hear y'all got an interesting setup here for touring.
Yeah, we have a rig, man. So we were kind of looking at like getting an RV, when we were looking at the most efficient way to do this, and then we kind of ended up on basically a short school bus, because it's
Nice.
It's industrial quality, industrial strength pretty
Right.
much, and there's not too many bells and whistles on it that have the potential to break.
Yeah.
It's a diesel engine, so we can run it at night, and we stay in the bus, so we can run it and keep the heat going. And
Damn.
Yeah.
Y'all built some bunks so y'all can sleep in it?
Yeah, there are 4 members in Hyborian, and we have 4 bunks in there, and then we kind of configured it to where there's seating for everybody too, and then we have a gear locker in the back of the bus where the handicap door would be. There would be a handicap chairlift that goes up. We took that out, and we built a gear locker in the back of the bus that we keep our gear locked up in, and so we don't pull a trailer or anything. We just cruise the bus.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And because y'all are sleeping in it, there's less danger for the equipment being stolen, and it's in a cage. So you figured out a few things with this, is what I'm hearing.
We kind of put a lot of thought into exactly how we wanted to do it, and
It's a commitment, man, and it's good that y'all are all on the same page and willing to dedicate yourselves and invest in it, so y'all could go out and do it in a financially feasible way.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if we're not having to spend money every night on getting a hotel room and, this, that, and the other, we can allot that money to gas and, whatever else. Beer, honestly. Yeah. Seriously, yeah.
Have y'all had any particularly strange experiences sleeping in various parking lots?
Oh, man. We've definitely had some strange experiences. Most times we sleep in Walmart parking lots because they allow, like, truckers and different people that are traveling on the road to sleep in the parking lot, probably because they're betting on the fact they're going to come into the Walmart and
buy
spend some
shit.
money. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
But we were in Nebraska one time after a show, which isn't too far away from Kansas City, and we saw a domestic dispute, I guess. We'll put it that way. But yeah, it was pretty scary.
Yeah. The Walmart people.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's that. And then, we always get people, like, wanting to come up and hang out inside of the bus just because it has, like, the 2 side doors that open up and, So we got that. But
so just, like, random strangers are, like, knocking?
Sometimes, yeah.
What?
And we're just, there have been times where it's, like, people from the show are like, okay, yeah, come in, hang out, take a look around or whatever. But there have definitely been times where we've had to be like, yeah.
No,
maybe not
so
going to come in.
Some fucking Walmart strangers in the middle of the night just hanging out on your bus. Get the fuck out of here.
Please leave. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, my God. How have the shows been thus far?
The shows have been good, man. Started out in St. Louis, and we played at a bar called Foo Bar.
Uh-huh.
It was a really good show. Played with some great bands. And then the last 2 nights have been good. The crowd in Pittsburgh last night wasn't the best attended show we've ever played, but, we had fun.
Yeah.
We had to load up like a 30 stair up into the upstairs venue. So,
shit.
It was interesting. And the area that we were at was almost like a college, like, clubbing district type of thing. Like,
weird.
Like a bunch of, clubs,
Right.
I guess you would call them, like dance clubs, but fun. It was fun,
And then y'all played a matinee today here, and I know Pittsburgh's a 6-hour drive, so how early did y'all get up to get here?
We didn't go to bed. So
Y'all haven't slept?
Well, we did it. We drove in shifts.
Okay.
So one of us, basically after our, and then this is another wrench in the system here, but our Pittsburgh show was a late show last night. So
Ooh.
the show itself started at 9:30.
Right.
When I say it started at 9:30, we started loading all the 4 bands up the stairs at 9:30.
Oh, my God.
We were 4th of 4 bands that played, so we didn't get out of there until 3 a.m.
Oh, dude. Jesus.
So after we got everything loaded in the bus and everything like that, one of the band members drove for about 2.5 hours, and then everybody else slept in the bunks. And then when he was done and didn't feel like he could safely drive anymore, and somebody else got up and drove for about 2.5 hours, and then I got up at about 7 a.m. and drove for the remainder of the time.
Yeah.
And we came here straight to St. Vitus, parked out in front, and went and got some espresso and did the thing.
Right on.
Yeah.
How are you able to have the flexibility in your life to where you can go out and do these tours? What do you do when you're not touring?
So when I'm not touring, I work at a screen printing shop in Kansas City that prints merch for a bunch of touring bands, and we do just a bunch of different screen printing stuff, and so I am a print operator. So I a press operator. So I work the presses, and the owner of our company plays in bands as well. I've known him for a long time, and he gets it. He's been doing it, so he understands that you got to do what you love to do and what you want to do, and he allows that flexibility to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's crucial.
R.L. Brooks, thank you.
Yeah, there it is. That's amazing. And once again, the other members as well have to have flexibility. So to find, 4 guys that are dedicated to doing it and keep flexibility in their lives to allow them to go out and do these runs is definitely a thing. It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's a lot of planning, and it's a lot of communication, and a lot of being patient and putting up with each other's shit, It really is what it is. It's like,
yeah,
we have significant others. We have lives, try to have lives outside of our jobs and then our band, and, it's a lot. We're constantly doing stuff,
Yeah.
So, but we wouldn't have it any other way, this is what we love to do. So it's
absolutely,
like, we're going to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate the dedication.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Y'all got a new record coming out, but let's go back, I guess, to the previous one. When I first found out about y'all, a mutual friend of ours, in Justin Mantooth, he mixed your record. I too have worked with him. We did this record. I was in this band Family, and he engineered and mixed it. Called Future History.
Cool.
So I played the drums and all that. So I know Mantooth worked with him and everything. And yeah, super cool guy.
Very cool guy.
Yeah,
he's great, man. He is. He's a hometown here. I mean, he's more than that, but, he does so much for the music scene in Kansas City, and he records so many bands. So he mixed our first record, Volume 1.
Which sounds great.
Thank you very much, yeah. And then we actually recorded the record in our own practice space. Did the best we could, got sounds, and
really
went after it. Yeah.
Was that your collectively? Was that y'all's first time attempting to do that, to record within a practice space, and that have all your tracking done there?
Yeah, that was our first time doing that. We have some material that is unreleased that we probably won't ever release, just because it was that time period in our band where we were just figuring out what we wanted to do,
Yeah.
And so we recorded at another smaller studio in Kansas City, and after that we were kind of like, okay, this is what we want to do, and then we focused on that, and then wrote the songs for Volume 1, and then recorded it.
Is anyone in the band an audio engineer, or are y'all all just figuring it on the fly?
Yeah, our lead singer, Martin Bush, he does sound at a local rock club called the Riot Room.
So knows nothing about miking and
yeah.
And that. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he's into that stuff, and so we just kind of figured it out.
That's great.
I mean, it's that thing where you can go back and something, you'll wish that it sounded this way, that way, but we've just got it to a certain point,
and y'all were isolated enough in your practice space that you didn't have intrusion from other bands interfering with mics and whatnot. It's fairly isolated.
Yeah, we built the space out ourselves. We pretty much do everything kind of DIY. We don't do everything DIY, especially in regards to this last record that we're looking to release here in 2020.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we built out our practice space and built soundproofing and baffling and stuff like that. And
nice. Some industrious fuckers, man. Listen, y'all renovating buses and
it's if you're not gonna do it, who the fuck is? So. Really?
That is the phrase for the day. If you're not going to do it, who the fuck is? That is a fair enough question. Oh my God, that's good stuff, man. Tell me a little bit, about this new record.
So for the tracking part, we did it pretty legit this time. We went to a studio in Kansas City that actually has just opened called B24 Studios.
Okay.
We recorded with a guy named Josh Barber, who has done a couple Norma Jean albums. He's done.
Right on.
He's a wizard at this stuff.
What do you know what Norma Jean records he did? I only ask because they consistently have pretty sick sounding records.
Good sounding records. This one that is their new one released.
Yeah, All Hail.
Okay,
yeah.
All Hail. He didn't do that one.
I know he didn't do that one.
He did, I think, the 2 before this one.
Oh, I love both of those. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a Polar Similar and then Wrongdoers prior to that.
He did both of those.
Awesome.
He did both of those.
Sick.
So yeah.
Those are badass sounding records.
Badass sounding records, man. And this studio that we recorded in, a mutual friend of ours named Gene Abramov opened this studio, built it pretty much from the ground up, and it's a state-of-the-art place. It's
sick.
It's a badass facility, man. And so then he got he teamed up with Josh Barber, came in, and so we were actually, I think, the first record that was recorded there.
Oh, that's amazing. Is he going to mix it as well?
It's already mixed. It's already mastered.
Oh, all right. We'll have to do a little listening session later.
Definitely.
I'm interested to hear
Especially if we can find a proper system maybe to listen to it on our bus. That's one thing we're lacking. We don't have.
Oh, you got to get the stereo together, man.
I know. It's like, there's only so much time in a day.
Well, at least you can store your equipment and sleep in it. So you're winning a couple things here.
Exactly.
Got to get the stereo up to par.
We will. But it's a thing we talk about all the time. I'm like, man, we're using this freaking Bluetooth, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, in my personal opinion, this new record, it sounds like it's there.
Yeah.
It sounds super pro to me. It's just the drums are really out front.
Did you use your Q drums to record?
I did.
Oh, so that's that kit on the record.
Yep.
Sick.
I'm
sure it sounds badass.
It sounds amazing, man.
Yeah.
Josh has these crazy methods of tuning. Like I don't even know if I can properly explain the stuff, but he'll take a tiny Bluetooth speaker, set it on each drum, on the head, on the batter side head of the drum, and he'll turn on a frequency on the Bluetooth speaker, and then he'll tune the drum around a certain frequency, and basically the volume of it will get louder and louder, and when it gets to its loudest point, then the drum is, I guess, essentially tuned to where he wants it.
Jesus.
It's over my head a little bit, but
That's hilarious.
But it worked.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And, I think.
Yeah, and y'all have a very specific, big guitar sound as well that y'all have that you certainly possess live, and I think that's one of the things that's great that you've been able to capture, at least, on your previous record.
Thank
so
you.
if you're going to a guy that worked with Norma Jean, who, once again, gets pretty killer guitar sounds on records, I would imagine y'all are going to be sounding pretty big.
I can't wait for you to hear it.
Fuck yeah.
I can't wait for everybody to hear it, honestly.
Sometimes it can almost be anticlimactic, I feel like, when you release a record, because so much goes into it. You sit on it for so many months, you're already like, all right, that's lost a little bit of
I'm ready
the
to
intrigue.
write new songs.
Right.
It's
exactly.
I'm ready to record. We're not ready to record again, but I'm ready to start writing. And we're all ready to start writing and going through the process again. But yeah, I mean, we recorded the album basically from June 1st to June 30th.
This is like a month.
Yeah, one whole month we spent in there. And
how many days did it take you to track the drums?
It took me about 6 days, but they weren't full days.
Right.
Like I did, I think, a Saturday, and then I think there was something going on Sunday, and then the remainder of the drums I did basically after work the following week.
Gotcha. So you were working and then getting out and going to record drums.
I'm going to do a physical job all day long, and then that. I'm like, man.
Yeah, the struggle is real.
Yeah, it's all good, but it's it would be, in theory, be cool to be fresh, wake up and but either way, it was a magical experience.
I had a ridiculous experience recently where I recorded some drums for a project, and I was like, you know what, the guitarist and I will go in, we'll track everything live. But like an asshole, I didn't set up the night before and get everything. So then it was like, all right, we gotta ride to the practice space. I was on my bike, he was in his car. We packed his car completely full. I rode on my bike back then to the studio, set everything up. Took hours to do that. Then his guitar amp failed. Had to diagnose problems. Then I'm like, then they're like, oh yeah, and we have a hard out as well. I'm like, motherfucker, we gotta track 6 songs.
I guess we're not gonna have any time. So by the time we get set up,
I tracked 6 songs, but man, it was stressful. I will never do that. I mean, I'm fine to track 6 songs if I can be set up the day before.
Yeah.
And I've done that before. But Jesus, we set ourselves up almost for failure.
It's a marathon. Okay, so when I was saying that we did that Saturday and that was the first day of actually tracking drums. I mean, we spent Friday just getting them set up, tuning them, getting new heads on them. Yeah, so it's
works.
I can't imagine doing all that and then 6 songs like that in a session. I mean,
it sucked.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
I believe that.
Yeah. I won't do that ever again.
I feel like if you have somebody who can edit good, do good drum edits, then you can just kind of hammer it out, and
I hope for the best.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
and then after the fact, you're like, oh, I didn't hit a cymbal like on that, so now like
It's
the
gonna sound
transition
weird
sounds
or-
fucked up.
exactly.
Yeah, it's one of those shitty things that you just, but you're stuck with it at this point.
You
it's
are.
not like I'm gonna go set up back in and get you. The sounds will never be the same. Everything is different. So it's once they're like, all right, the day has ended. I'm breaking down my drums. I'm like, fuck. I hope I got what
That's
I
that.
needed.
Yeah. Yep.
Jesus.
Exactly, man. But
Yeah.
there's also a certain magic in the moment, and you kind of got what you got, and if there are some imperfections and stuff, it's human. So
Right.
I like stuff like that. I like hearing little things where I'm like, oh man, you
Yeah.
catch that, and it's like,
For sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's. It's funny. I've been going back and listening to the Rolling Stones, and there's on that famous song. There's Wild Horses. There's like Charlie Watts straight up just like hits the rim of the snare. Not even like it's just a total fucking. It's a fucked up.
Didn't
note.
even hit the drum head at all.
Like, he might even do it a couple times in that song.
I believe it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it.
People are like, fuck it.
At that point, it's like the tape's rolling, At least now, click back in or do whatever it takes.
Drums and drumming. Why the drums?
Yeah, man. I've been listening to your podcast here a lot recently, and I kind of hear similar answers from other drummers. I started playing the guitar,
Yeah.
and I was like, all about it. And then I learned the one Metallica song, and then I was like, it just never resonated with me.
Yep.
And I actually didn't start playing drums until later in life. I didn't start until I was 20 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
My best friend growing up, his name's Sam Hoskins. We lived together in a house that he had at the time. And he was like, man, he's like, I see you like tapping on stuff. I know, I can tell that you have rhythm. Like, let's just learn the drums, man. I'll teach you, And he's an amazing drummer.
Okay.
And so we basically just did like ultra intense drum Jedi training camp for a couple years straight. And he was always a drummer, so he started playing guitar and started getting into that stuff. And so he just would have me play drums, and he always had badass drum kits, like custom stuff, just cool drums. And so he would have me play his drums while he was kind of learning the ropes on guitar and like vocals and stuff like that. So
That's where it started.
what got me into it.
It's cool that it wasn't a high pressure situation, and he's kind of learning. Y'all are both learning together, and
Yeah.
just kind of like fumbling your way through learning an instrument.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then I also had him there to be like, teach me the essential rock fills. Like we weren't necessarily working on like rudiments and stuff. We were, from the beginning, I was just like, I just want to rock, man. Like, how do I make this as badass as I can, as fast as I can? And
Right.
So, he kind of showed me the ropes on stuff like that. And
It's funny you're wearing a helmet shirt here, and I talked to Dave Turnkrantz of Russian Circles, and we were
Great band.
We were joking about the unshakable influence of John Stainer's playing from Helmet, because I was seeing them in the '90s and was a fan of them, of all their records.
John Stainer's a badass.
He's such a badass. And it's funny. I mean, once again, to this day, it's just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, that's kind of a John Stainer lick.
Yeah, exactly, man. He's got a characteristic sound that rules.
Yeah.
I have always been into helmet battles,
Tomahawk battles. Yeah.
Tomahawk. Yeah,
Great shit.
So much good stuff. Definitely an influential artist.
Absolutely. Was there, when you were starting when you're 20, you start playing your kit, this and that and the other, were there any particular drummers outside of John Stainer that you feel like were probably still an influence to you to this day?
Danny Carey,
For sure.
100% number one. I mean, he's unmatched. I would call him my hero. I don't know, idol. Person you look to for motivation on the instrument that you love to play. I just a couple weekends ago drove from Kansas City to Indianapolis to watch Tool and Killing Joke.
How was it?
It was a spiritual experience.
Yeah.
It was amazing. He has always been my number one influence and person. Although I don't necessarily think the style that I have on the drum set is like really that closely related with what he does, just because I think what he does is not really closely related with anybody. I don't know. He
has an incredible level of independence, and his orchestration with every part is like you could tell the guy is very cerebral and really takes his time to orchestrate stuff that is quite honestly, it's not the easiest to play. And,
oh my
and
gosh!
the independence to play it is a whole nother level, really.
I don't understand the freaking half of it. I'm like, I'll be listening to something. I'm like, I don't necessarily get it.
You remind me a little bit of Joey Castillo, who played in Queens of the Stone Age and now plays
Great
with
drummer.
the Bronx and plays in a million bands.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
You got a kind of like big rock bombast kind of thing going on.
Thank you. Yeah, I take that as a great compliment. He's a great drummer as well. John Theodore, great drummer.
Oh my God.
Saw Queens of the Stone Age on the last tour that they were doing, coming through Kansas City, and
Was that so for the Villains record?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Villains record. Yeah.
Prior to John joining the band, when they put out the record prior to Villains,
Like Clockwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, Like Clockwork, yeah.
Yeah. So when they put out Like Clockwork, I remember thinking, this is a really interesting record. And man, they got bigger. I saw them really ascend to start to playing bigger and bigger venues.
Yep.
And then now with Villains, they're a huge band.
And it's pop songs but
Right.
that are amazing.
Yeah.
And just perfectly written, I think.
They're great songs, and it helps having a great, very one-of-a-kind vocalist. Like my wife and I were literally eating brunch today, and a Queens of the Stone Age song came on, and she's totally detached from the rock world, but she was like, "Is this Queens of the Stone Age?" I was like, "Yeah, this is him."
Bam,
Bam.
Exactly. They have that thing.
Josh has a one-of-a-kind voice.
He does, man. He's a force.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
love. That's another band that I've always gotten excited about, and
Me too.
saw them pretty good bit back in the day. Like I saw them at the House of Blues in New Orleans, so it was like a small venue relative
Sweet.
to what they're doing now.
Now, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Same thing with Tool, and I've talked about that. I mean, I saw them play after Rage Against the Machine on the '93 Lollapalooza, so they opened it up.
And I'm pretty sure that is the tour that broke them.
Yeah.
Made them kind of blast off. I think. I've been listening to every interview I can get my hands on here recently, just because their new album, just recently came out. And
Yeah.
Danny was talking about that. Yeah, after they did that Lollapalooza tour, it was just it was a thing.
Well, it was killer too because right when Anima came out, they were touring on that record, and I saw them on that tour. And I've talked about it before, so I won't have to reiterate it. But long and the short of it is, to this day, it's quite possibly one of the greatest shows I've ever seen.
I believe it, man.
That band was unfuckwithable at that phase, dude. It was like there's no one better on the planet than this fucking band.
It's unreal. Like, as a drummer, I would say you can't go to one of those shows and watch that and not think that that's just badass. I don't know, it's like
Totally.
Danny is a force.
100%. Big motherfucker too.
Big motherfucker. Yeah, he's actually from Kansas City.
That's right. So he's your people.
He's from Paola, but right outside of Kansas City. It's funny. Full circle. This most recent record that we just recorded at B24 Studios, the owner of B24 Studios and I used to play in a band together, and we rehearsed in Danny Carey's father's old golf shop.
Wow.
On 75th Street in Kansas City, Missouri.
That's nuts.
So it's hometown guy,
Totally.
I just love it.
He is a bad dude.
He is, man. And there's, so many others, the Thomas Pridgeons of the world.
Of course.
The
John Acrobatics.
Yeah, it's just there's so many different styles, and I try to take a little bit of everything that I love and let it kind of filter through me and incorporate it, and
Sure. You have a big drum sound, so inevitably that always kind of links back to Bonham. Everyone. That's too. I want to talk about the unshakable influence that permeates everyone that plays rock.
Everyone,
that's inescapable.
It is.
Even
man.
John Stainer, when you listen to him, like, oh, he's got some fucking Bonham up
Totally,
in
man.
him.
Yeah, definitely.
It's undeniable.
Bill Bruford, another
Oh,
guy.
dude, I've been going hard on some Yes as of late. I go through
yeah.
phases where I've just kind of ingested heavily.
King Crimson just released their whole, I don't know if their whole discography. I'm the Spotify listener, but
but they held out.
They did hold out.
It was like
sure.
Bob Seger, King Crimson, Tool, and maybe even Def Leppard. Strangely enough, there was there was 4 bands that were like fuck streaming.
Yeah, they're like, God damn it, okay, we got to do it.
Kind of finally caved in, Yeah,
exactly. Speaking of caved in, man, the most recent interview with the drummer of Cave In was great.
JR's awesome, man.
Yeah, he is.
And what a great story that band has, and the diversity of output and everything they've gone through with Caleb passing and everything. Yeah, that was awesome talking to that guy.
Yeah, man. Magical.
It was a good one.
Kudos.
Yeah, and another guy with a great big drum sound as well.
Yeah, definitely powerful, man. Very cool style.
Yeah.
Always listened to him. Always loved him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, what's aside from 2020 putting out the record? What do y'all have any plans for any tours? And have y'all been to Europe?
We haven't been to Europe.
Okay.
We are. Our record label is based out of France.
Oh, nice.
So, hopefully there will be plans for, after we release this record to go over there.
Absolutely.
I think they have a little bit of a infrastructure set up for bands
They do.
from the States to come over and bands that are on their label and kind of get them around and get them playing some shows.
I could see the European crowds really digging y'all.
I hope so, man. Yeah, I mean, the people over there are all about it. They're all about heavy metal music, and it's cool. I've never seen any of Europe at all, so I would love to
There
do
you go.
it. Yeah,
That'd be one. What better way to go?
yeah,
Play
exactly.
some shows.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, the irony, of course, and I talk to a lot, obviously, and speaking to so many touring musicians, is that touring is really predominantly driving and waiting.
driving and waiting.
Yeah,
it is.
The people have a detached, romanticized idea about it, but
They do, and it is. It's super fun.
Yeah.
We're doing what we love to do. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of public restrooms and sitting around for hours.
Absolutely. Well, at least you got a short bus to do it with some bunks.
Exactly, man. And a heater, and we got a cooler in there, some beer, and
yeah,
everything.
dude, you're living the life.
I know, dude. You can't ask for much more.
Right on, man. Well, shit, brother. It was good talking to you, man.
too,
Congrats
man.
On this tour and doing this run, and I definitely look forward to hearing this new record. I'm psyched. I think it's gonna be killer.
Thank you very much, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to you hearing it as well. So I appreciate it.
On your shitty van stereo, possibly. We'll see.
I mean, maybe, yeah. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, maybe you get the idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Good talking to you.
Thank you. You too, man.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in as always. And thanks to Justin for catching up. Thanks to St. Vitus Bar for hooking up the killer shows. Wish Hyborian the best of luck, and this new record is going to be something to check out. So be on the lookout for it March 20th. And if they come through your town, make sure to go see them. That band is fucking ripping live. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Crash, bang, boom.